I'm Al Stewart, and this is the SwimSwam podcast. Joining me is SwimSwam's head of production, Coleman Hodges. And today we have a very special guest, a man with unique Olympic history, three-time Olympic medalist, the future Prime Minister of Tunisia, Osama Mellouli.
What's up?
I only get a what's up after that introduction. I should be like, what's up?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mel.
All right, we'll jump right into it, and I'll say that I was late to the OS fan club. I was aware of you. I followed you, but I wasn't a true OS fan until I saw you crush Hackett in person in 2008 at the Olympic Games, and then I was like, there might be some love here. There might be a little bit of love happening right now. That was a great swim. Did you feel the love for yourself in that moment?
Oh, it was, it's like that one moment where it's just like pure glory after a lifelong of hard work, and it's so hard to reach. So it's very special, and everybody that steps on that Olympic podium can say the same thing. It might sound cliche to you because you've done so many interviews and you've talked to so many Olympic gold medalists, but it's extra special for me because, believe it or not, I'm like the first Olympic gold medalist swimmer from my continent, from Africa, and from my country, which is a very small country in North Africa. So it was very special, yeah. And a very tough event in the 1500 freestyle, which is, I take pride in being the first American trained swimmer to win the 1500 after Brian Goodell in the 80s. So to take down an Australian for an American trained swimmer was a huge accomplishment for me, and a lot of pride for me as a Tunisian swimmer, but also for me as a Trojan. So definitely a special day.
Where are you? Are you there now? I mean, you get your shirt on. Are you in LA?
I'm in LA, but I'm down in Mission Viejo with Coach Schubert because SC is shut down right now. As you know, with COVID, university policy is not inviting kids back to school yet. So, and athletes are not going to be an exception. So the pool is still shut down at USC, and I'm training with my second home here in Southern California, which is the Mission Viejo Nadadores.
Yeah, that's cool. I read that you trained under Jeremy Kipp. Did he coach you? Okay, so you must be feeling good about the new hire at USC. He's the new head of USC coaching staff.
Oh, absolutely. I think Jeremy has done great as an assistant coach under Salo, and we missed him. Obviously, he left a big void in the team. I've been following his career ever since, and he's done some great things, whatever he's been. I had the pleasure to work with him for, I think, one Mediterranean Games. We went and traveled together and did the Mediterranean Games in Pescara, and I had a dominant showing there and won 5 gold medals at the Mediterranean Games, which was a record-breaking performance for me. And very confident that Kip is going to be able to, step in and take that leadership role and rebuild the men's program and continue the women's program success.
So the last time that the last time USC had a head coaching change, you were there, and we just talked to Salo.
I've seen it all.
We just talked to Salo the other week, and he said that that transition wasn't as smooth for some athletes as it was for others. He said one day, he came up to me. He's like,
we got stories.
Yeah. How did, swimming for Mark Schubert for so long, how did you adjust to Salo?
Oh, I thought it was a joke at first. I was going to snob the guy, and I did. I was thinking to myself when he first came in, a very educated guy, obviously very smart guy with a PhD, knows a lot about swimming, and very respectable. I mean, I grew up being a fan of Aaron Pearsall and Jason Lesak and all all the great guys coming out of SoCal. So obviously I had the respect. You know, you got to show respect when it's due. And I did, but I mean, the guy didn't know a thing about distance swimming or the 400 IM, which was my specialty. And then he comes in here and what is he going to teach me? So I took my stuff, and actually that summer when he took over, one, I was very upset that Mark left, and it was an abrupt situation. I felt like the rug was taken from underneath us, and a lot of kids on the team back then felt the same way. We obviously didn't want Mark to leave, especially as I was coming up, and I was hoping to really peak in those years. That was my prime, no? So I was very upset, and I was starting to scramble. Where should I go next? So I looked at Georgia and went and hang out with Jack and Georgia and some of the guys over there, and also went and spent the summer in the south of France and trained with Laura Monadou's coach, Philippe Lucas. And that was the first time where I spent an extended amount of time outside the U.S. training, and I did not like it. I felt like the culture outside the U.S., I felt out of place, to be honest with you. I wasn't having a good time training. I wasn't fired up about going to workouts. So I was like, listen, I'm just going to go back to Salo and see what happens. And we did great things. So
I think did Salo share the same story with us? Coleman, we had Salo on.
He's got another story.
His story was one day he's like, Os was kind of in and out, wishy-washy, and one day I was like, you can't swim here unless you do it my way.
Wishy-washy. No, I mean, I think, which I appreciated, that at the very beginning he set the tone right. He acknowledged that there's going to be some differences in the program. There's going to be some changes. But he was very open. I think he was very open to the older guys, and he kept the conversation open. And he's a very humble and flexible person, you know, considering what he's done. And I think very quickly I reacted well to his style, and he was very receptive to my ideas. So it was a very respectable partnership. And we carried it on for a long time. It worked out for a long time.
For anybody who's not familiar with you, let's get to 2012 and drop it real fast. You came back and you got a bronze medal in the pool in the 1500 meters. Swam faster than you did in 2008. It's a faster swim. Soon Young kicked your butt by 9 seconds. It was bad. I was crying. I was a bitter moment, but I was happy that you swam a personal best and picked up a medal. And but then you turned around and you won gold in the 10K in open water, and you're the first person to win in the pool and in open water and won Olympics. Has anybody done it since?
No, I think they're still working on it. It might happen this summer. It might happen. But yeah, I think I mean, to go back to what you're talking about, the 1500 in London. Very special 1500 for me because I haven't swam that well after Beijing. I just kind of plateaued for a little while. Well, actually, 2009 I won my world title in the spacesuit, as my people used to call them, and yeah, but I plateaued for a little bit. I had some ups and downs. I was dealing with injuries, and I wasn't very confident. So going in there and really being clutched that day in the 1500 with that type of field lined up for that 1500, it was one of the fastest 1500s ever. Because with my performance, I would have medaled in any Olympic final till then. So very proud of that bronze medal. A lot of things have happened in my personal life outside of the swimming pool, and a lot of changes have been happening in my country that definitely affected me, and the media came down on me pretty hard. So I was dealing with all of that, and to just come back and win a bronze in the 1500 was definitely something special. And from that point on, I pretty much was untouchable on the 10K.
Well, what was going on? Well, I mean, here's the thing. Nobody knows these backstories, and when the pressure to compete at that level is so high, and sometimes you're fighting your own life and all the BS that happens, things that are not, sometimes they're in your control, sometimes they're not. Can you share any of the things that you were going through?
Yeah, well, Tunisia went through a revolution in 2011, and I was the highest profile athlete in the country up until then. So after the revolution, there's been some reports that my ties with the old regime were too tight, and I was basically an embarrassment for the country for being that tied up to the political regime, which wasn't true. I mean, as you know, in a lot of these countries, as athletes, all we want to do is represent the flag and represent the people, and do well and set an example for the kids that will be aspiring and look at us for inspiration. Had no political ambitions back then. I still don't. And so it was pressure for me to really deliver post-revolution for my country. Otherwise, I would have been stamped as the kid that was the poster child of the old regime, and that was heavy.
That sounds heavy. That sounds like a lot. That sounds like a very unique situation that no other Olympian had to deal with. Arab Spring 2011. Yeah, wow. What's interesting is that we all watched it all over the world.
Yeah.
And but it seemed far removed from us. But
so my country, the Arab Spring happened in Tunisia, as you know.
Yeah.
And it just kind of was a domino effect to the rest of the region. And I was very proud to represent my country as a free man. And my whole life, I lived overseas. I mean, my whole adulthood life, I lived in France for the rest of my high school. I lived in the U.S. for over 15 years now that I've been living in the U.S. And democracy is something that's embedded in me, and freedom of speech and all those things. So I was really proud that my country was going through that change and setting the tone for the region. And I wanted to make my country proud of me. I didn't want that label of, you were great in that era, and now that era is gone, you're done. Which, that summer in Shanghai in 2011 was the first World Championships long course where I just fell short of the podium, and I think I was fourth in the 800, and my 1500, I bombed my 1500. I didn't even make the final. It was a very disappointing pre-Olympic year for me. So I had to really pick the pieces back up and work through Olympic year and hope for a miracle, and we made it happen. So that's why I say, I took a huge breath of just delivery and a sigh of just, wow, I'm over the fence now. I'm good to go. And I think my 10K showed great dominance in that 10K, and I think that 10K just showed how well I can perform when I'm feeling confident and loose.
You were swimming, I think it was, I saw you at the Playsax mile, the Robert Playsax, and I remember you coming out saying, open water is a whole different game.
Yeah.
And would you call yourself?
That race is cursed for me. I tried so hard to win that race. I never won it.
It's your race. It's a sprint.
Well, it's very tricky. The sighting in that race is very tricky, and it's always like in the beginning of the season. So after a long break, usually I take long breaks after Worlds and just kind of go and cold turkey it over there and hang out with Bob and all the guys. So that's probably a couple of good reasons why I never won it.
We're talking about the Tiburon Mile, and it's a sprint from Angel Island into Tiburon. Very exciting. But what's interesting is that, how would you describe yourself at that time, heading into London, where it's like, all your experience was in the pool. Did you have your open water legs underneath? I mean, you obviously won, but it's like, how much experience did you have going into that race?
I still was a thoroughbred pool swimmer. I still took pride in being the best in the pool, and that's all that mattered to me. I mean, it's kind of a snobbish attitude to the sport, but that was the reality of it back in the day. And I think it's changed now, and I think I played a big part in, legitimizing the 10K, being the first, pool swimmer to win it after a few have tried and failed. So, yeah, I mean, the main focus was the pool. And then we had a chance for distance athletes to have an extra event in the Olympic program. So why not take a stab at it and see what happens? But the meat of it all was in the 1500, and then the big surprise was the 10K. So very happy that I got a chance to race some of the best, and one of the best, which was the German, who dominated the sport for so long, and unfortunately the Olympics were cursed for him and never won that elusive gold medal. And I was once again, between a legend and his elusive gold medal in the 10K, which is, I'm talking about obviously Thomas Loers. And I was hooked. I was really hooked. I think open water, I can say from experience that it's a very tough adjustment. It doesn't mean if you're a great pool swimmer and an amazing distance swimmer, it doesn't mean that those skills are going to equate in the open water. That doesn't mean anything. Everything gets readjusted, and you have to earn your stripes. So 2 or 3 races we planned for the Olympic season before the Olympic qualifier and ultimately before the Olympic Games. The first one we did was in Mexico, which was a beautiful setting, and I love that the different setting from the pool. You're in like tropical area, crystal clear water, cool conditions. I fell in love with the nature of it all, but I did all the mistakes possible. I mean, I took the lead from early on and just was doing some backstroke to see where I'm at. I did a lot of sighting mistakes. So I learned a lot from that first race. Second race was actually the Olympic qualifier, and I won that. We made the necessary adjustments, and then I won the Olympic qualifier with the top 10 guys not being there. So that gave me a lot of confidence. And then the Olympic race, knowing that, I just did a 1440 in the pool, I knew that was going to be tough to beat. And we had a very smart strategy going into it. And I think I executed it very well. And what I wanted to do was to really make a push in that last loop and hang on till the end, which was very risky. And it's still a risky strategy. And I don't think anybody has done it ever since, or anybody has swum the 10K ever since, where you're just going to take off from the peloton and hang on to the finish line. So very proud of that race. I think being the first swimmer to win Olympic gold in the pool and open water is a cool title that I'm proud of.
It's a really cool title. Is there, in terms of just feeling and experience, what was more emotional and fun? The first medal in the pool or the surprise open water 10K gold?
Oh, the 1500 medal in the pool. By a mile. I mean, that was definitely a fun event. Just jumping in the London pool and the prelims and going 14:47, feeling super smooth, super light on the water. Going into the Olympic finals second. I mean, the whole country was buzzing just between prelims and finals. That was cool. And then, hopping on my second Olympic podium in London. Yeah, I was very happy. I mean, it meant to me more than anything in the world, to be honest with you.
Coleman's going to jump in here with a lot of swim nerd talk. He's going to try to dive. He's going to dig in deep. But I just want to say one thing. I became an OS fan in 2008 watching you beat Hackett. Now, I didn't know that I liked you until we did an Olympic appearance. We did an Olympic appearance in Mexico. I think it was for the Mexican.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun trip.
The Mexican Swimming Federation. It was swank. It was cool. And frankly, it was Mark Spitz, Rowdy Gaines, Jason Mizek, Josh Davis, you, me. I can't remember who else it was, but it was a big crew, and we didn't have to talk. Like, all the talking was Mark Spitz. And I love Mark. It's the most fun I've ever had with Mark Spitz ever. We're up there, and Mark is doing a speech. And we're sitting in front of, I don't know, it must have been thousands of people. And he would say a sentence and then they would translate it. And I was like, I have no idea what Mark's talking about. He was just going on tangent after tangent after tangent. And I just remember you looked at me and Rowdy looked across the wingback chairs. We were in a ring of wingback chairs. And you started me laughing. And I'm like, I was stricken by fear and laughing. And because
yeah, I'm used to Mark, because I mean he came to SC because I think his kid looked at the school, and he lives in LA, and we're actually for a while me and his wife were sharing the same chiropractor in Beverly Hills. So I'm used to the way Mark is, but I've never seen him in action like that. He's the champ of speaking engagements, and he proved it once again in Mexico during that rally, or that so it was kind of cool for me to first see his speeches and see his interaction with his fans and with his peers around him. It was very, very special happening that day.
It was like 2 days of just stand and wave. It was standard Olympian stand and wave, and they pay you pretty well. And it was one of the most fun I've had on trips with Olympians. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll invite us back.
I haven't been invited back. Maybe they saw me laughing, and that's the reason why. I don't know.
So you blame it on me. Okay.
I would just throw you under the bus and say, have me back. It's all Os's fault.
Please, Mexican Federation, invite us back. We'll behave.
Do you have another team trip or anything that you did that was kind of a story you might be able to share that's interesting? I'm putting you on the spot. I know you can push off, but you never know. It's got to be PG-13 though.
No, I think that story tops it all. I think we got to leave it to that story.
Okay, we're gonna leave it there. We're keeping everything else under the cone of silence. And I think Coleman wants you have there's one event in his research, and he thought that this was the most amazing event of all time, and he wanted to ask you about it.
In 2011, you went to the Pan Arab Games, where according to your Wikipedia page, you won 15 gold medals and a silver. And I think you beat out fellow Trojan Katinka Hozu for like most wins at a single meet ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that meet was very special because it was in Doha, and Doha is all about sports. Obviously, their politics are built around sports to get the country to international fame. And for that meet, they put prize money for the first time. They put prize money for every medalist, and then they threw in a prize money for the athlete, the most winning athlete of the games, all sports combined, and I won that. So definitely put a carrot in front of me. I'm going to try to chase it hard, and that's what I did. It was very I don't want to say disrespectful to the rest of the swimmers, but I mean, I was just hopping on and off of. I pretty much entered all the races, and it was very tough competition. I mean, just to give you an idea, I think I won the 200 fly in 1:58. That's respectable, even by Mel's standards. And I think I won the 100 free in 49, and I won the 200 free in 1:48. It's 2IM 200. I mean, it was a fast meet.
Wait a minute. There could be a new level of love for Osama Mellouli. What have you been? You've been a 49 and 100 meter free. Was it short course?
Yes, sir.
It was short course, wasn't it? It was short course meters.
No, 49 had a freestyle. Yeah.
What is your best 100 meter free short long course meters?
It's 49.7 or 49.6.
Do anything under, if you can go 14:40 to win gold in the mile, but you can turn around and pop a 49.7.
I think the more impressive is my 4IM, just being a miler and swimming the 4IM. Not a lot of people did that double besides me and Vance.
Yeah, it's I know a lot of people swam 400 IM and the mile. But nobody, you're correct. You are absolutely correct. No one was dominant on the global stage swimming both those events. And you've got medals. You got medals in 4 and IM. It's impressive. I'll give you that. But the 49.700 free. I mean, your vertical leap's like 2 inches, right? You've got no explosive power.
Not far, yeah. Not very explosive on land, that's for sure. My starts are not the best either.
Did you negative split the 100-meter free when you went to 49.7?
You know, I got pretty good going out speed, you know, and just kind of carried it. I'm not sure what the splits were. I didn't care. I was just ecstatic that I went under 50.
It sounds like a fun meet. 15 medals. You were Katinka before Katinka was Katinka. Is that a good payday? Can you tell us what you made, or is that a little bit too personal?
Yeah, it was public. No, I think they put on $5,000 for a gold medal, which is a big payday by anybody's standards, and I think there was $75,000 for the all winning altogether. Oh. So it was a nice campaign, yeah.
So that's well over 100,000. That's
for that meet.
That's like almost 150,000.
It was around 150K, yeah.
It's pretty. You're living a swank life.
So
that was once in a lifetime.
You swam 16 events, and how many days was the meet or the swimming portion? I guess
7 days.
Okay. Nice. Was it prelims finals?
Prelims finals, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm so sorry that we're stuck on this one thing, but it's
so awesome.
Yeah, you won.
Not a lot of people know about it. Yeah.
You won this big bag of cash. You got all these medals. I don't think Phelps has never gone to a meet and won that many medals in one meet. Has he?
No, I'm sure. Yeah.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't.
No way.
8 medals in 2008. He didn't go anywhere and win 15. It's like we got to rewrite the history books. I'm just glad we're diving into this now. And you went to 49.7.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
Go ahead, Mel.
No, yeah. Here's my thing. This is what I want to talk to you about. You are a computer science major graduate from USC, but I just want to tell everybody while we're live and on the air, and it's not going to be edited out, that you could not get onto Zoom. You couldn't figure it out. That's not true. Actually, you had the wrong link. But
you're just mad I was 5 minutes late.
You're 5 minutes late. It's actually, but I was like, man, this guy's got a computer science degree from USC. He can't get on a Zoom call. What's up?
I had to update my Zoom thingy.
Zoom thing. All right. Well, you know, we love it. Here's the thing, though. That's pretty hard 4 years undergrad at a great school. Is this something that you'll ever work with? Will you use your degree in any way?
You know, computer science was a very tough degree to have. It's a lot of labs, a lot of time commitment to the coursework. But I knew going into my junior year that was not going to be my professional calling as I was progressing through my swimming career, and did some things post grad and got my postgraduate degree. I have a master's in education from USC because at the time I was thinking about going to athletic administration track and going to that, and then I kept on swimming, and in the meantime I did some investments of my own back in Tunisia and here in the States, and that helped me, you know, secure passive income for me to keep doing what I'm doing and keep on chasing the dream. Here we are, still training for my 6th consecutive Olympic Games, hopefully, which will be a platform for me to say goodbye to the sport in Tokyo and end my career there.
And you've been a little bit vocal. I don't want to bring you down, but you've been vocal about the water temperature there in Tokyo. Is it still a concern for you?
I think it's a huge concern and should be for everybody. I think USA Swimming would agree with me that the standards have to be met, and you know, it can be very dangerous to swim in high temperature waters for a long time. For people that don't understand the feeling, just try to put a treadmill in the sauna for a little while and see how you feel. It's very concerning, I think. I'm sure, however, that the IOC and the Japanese Olympic Committee will put together a good show, and we'll find. I think they just announced that the area is going to be changed. So hopefully the new venue will be cooler.
All right, we're down to about 7 minutes. And I just, as an observation, every time I talk to you, I always tell you the future prime minister of Tunisia. But after the context, if you're telling me what happened 2011, 2012, I feel kind of bad. But but I always say that because it's like I've seen you speak, I've seen you handle yourself. You seem like a leader to me. Is it? Do you keep a residence back in Tunisia? Do you stay? Are you connected to your roots?
Yeah, absolutely. I talk to my parents every day. My parents are still there. My oldest brother is still there. My whole family is there. The U.S. has been home away from home for me for this past 18 years. So, try to live my life between there and here. And they've been amazing support for me and for me, pursuing what I love and doing what I do. So very grateful for my family and had a lot of love for my country and a lot of love from a lot of people really that, followed me and supported me.
During the it's been a tough time with the shutdown. What have you done to stay sane?
At the time when COVID broke out, I was in Flagstaff, Arizona training, and the hotels were shut down, the pool was shut down up there. So I had to come down to LA, and I was pretty much locked in my apartment in downtown LA for 7 weeks. So not much to do, just on my Peloton doing some cardio and, doing some, simple exercises at home to stay in shape. But I gained a lot of weight, which is tough to lose at this age, but I'm working on it.
How much weight did you gain? Come on.
I pretty much gained probably upwards of 15 pounds, easy.
Yeah, that's right. But here's the thing: when you stop, swimmers at the elite level, they stop swimming, and guys, especially a nice sized guy, is going to put on 10, 15 pounds fast.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how fast you can gain it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's you can push off on this, but you did have some physical challenges that you've had to overcome. All elite athletes deal with little problems here and there. A mutual friend called me, Diana Nyad, and I'm like, she had an issue, so I put you guys in touch with each other, and then she went on to swim from what did she swim from the Keys, Cuba to the Keys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you helped an elite athlete accomplish something amazing. Did you follow that closely?
No, I don't think I can take credit for her accomplishment. But yeah, we spoke. No, she came to SC and watched my stroke and kind of gave her some tips on technique because she was trying to change her freestyle technique. And obviously some of the PT stuff that I was doing that, she always knew, but it was kind of a reinforcement of what she needed to do to stay on track.
It's pretty impressive moment. 2 big stars in open water, and but you're very gracious, guy. Is it so? Here's the thing, Coleman. I'm hogging him because I like him so much. I'm fanboying over here. Did you want to ask him any other questions?
I mean, we're down to just under 4 minutes, but when you first came to SC, I'd like to hear a little bit about your origin story in swimming for Schubert before Salo got there. Could we get into that just a little bit?
Yeah, well, at the time I was in France, and I was pretty much locked in to go to Berkeley, to be honest with you. The guys at Berkeley did an amazing job recruiting me. They were on a witch hunt for a Tunisian employee on campus for 2 weeks, and then they found this guy that worked somewhere on campus and got him on the phone in Nort's office, and they called my family back in Tunisia. My mom picks up the phone and is like, I'm so-and-so, I'm sitting in so-and-so's office. They want your kid to come swim here. My mom hangs up the phone and calls me, and she's like, you're going to Cal. It's done. I don't care where you want to go. So I committed to Berkeley, and I was pretty much set to go to Berkeley that summer. And then Mark calls me, and with his voice, this is Mark Schubert. I want you to come swim for me. You're gonna be the next greatest IAMer in the world. And he had it all set up. It was just textbook Mark. He had it all set up. Just no BS, no sugarcoating, just straight to the goal. And we talked for 5 minutes, and next thing I hang up the phone and called my parents. I'm going to LA. I'm going to go train with Mark Schubert and Eric Fant at the time, who was my idol and still, to me, one of the greatest guys that I know. So, and as a lot of people know, Mark Schubert is his track record speaks for itself. So he's an amazing coach, and he's been an amazing partner, and he helped me lay the foundation of some great things that I've done in my career. And he's definitely one of those guys that's a disciplinary, so he expects a lot from you, and he knows what it takes. So he'll tell you this is what it takes. There's just no BS around it. And I respect that. I think a lot of people shy away from that type of leadership, and a lot of people can't handle that. But I think I respect that. I think that he presented a lot of challenges, and he challenged me the right way. And I rose to that challenge, and it brought me to where I am today. So till this day, when I see Mark, I tell him thank you. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that he's given me. And I think all the swimmers that swam for Mark will say the same thing. He's just a wonderful ally to have, and a great coach to swim for.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.